Alright guys, Slow Ben here. I hope you're all having a great day. Today we're going to go over my LC Racing LC10B5 kit build. Just going to do a little build overview and review, initial thoughts, and I hope you enjoy. So, without further ado, this is the completed buggy. I painted it up in my colors, my orange, silver, black paint scheme, and overall the build is very good. So let's dive into the chassis and more on the build itself. So here is the car up close. First off, I'm going to talk about the manual. I thought the manual personally was very good. It was very easy to follow. However, there were a couple spots that screws were mislabeled, but it was clear enough for me to be able to figure out which ones were needed there. So overall, I thought the manual was very good. Cool little tuning options that I haven't been able to use yet are these eccentric bushings. You get half a degree positive and negative for each pill block, each suspension block. So that'll be cool to dive into and explore. So to get to the main focus of this video, the build of the buggy. Overall, I thought it went together very nicely. As I stated earlier, the manual is quite easy to follow. I didn't have too many hiccups. There are a couple spots that I want to point out, like in the front and rear A-arms, there's a little more play than perfect. It's got a little bit of play. So I just put in a small washer in the front, a small washer in the rear, and took up that play, and no big problems there. The only major problem I had was that in the stock spur gears from my kit, from my early production kit, the cutout for the slipper pads are actually too deep. So I needed to add another slipper pad for it to work correctly. I could not get it tightened down where it needed to be. However, now I have been informed that LC Racing has solved this issue, and any new kits will have the updated parts. So that was my only real problem. The quick solution is double up the slipper pads. Not that big of a deal, but it is something to know. So for electronics in this car, I am running the Trackstar 80 amp boost ESC. I run it in blinky mode for the racing that I do. I'm running the Savox 1257 TG digit servo. It's very fast, very strong. I haven't had any problems with it. I'm running the Futaba R204 GFE matched with my Futaba 4PL radio. And I'm running, for a battery, I'm running the Gens Ace 4600 milliamp hour shorty LiPo battery. And for a motor, I've actually had 3 different motors in this car. I started out with a Mod-X Racer 3 13.5. I ended up having some problems with the washers coming off. I had some problems with inside the motor, so I switched that out during a race for my Motive 13.5. I think it's the MC3. Don't quote me on that though. And now I've recently gotten the Trinity Monster Max 13.5 turn motor. However, I've not been able to test that in this car yet because of all the tracks getting closed. But overall, it was a great build. All the electronics fit in there very nicely. The body fits over the electronics very nicely. I'd like personally it to be a little stiffer, but I understand the companies are trying to tune with flex now, so that's in the design. Yeah, overall I have no major complaints about the build. Everything is very high quality, other than the spur gear and the slipper clutch issue. It all went together beautifully. I did not have a single problem. I have been able to get this out for one full race, and I was able to get a second place finish, just a hair behind first. And this thing has handled flawlessly. it's through the few races I've had on, or the one race I've had on it, it hasn't had any major breakages that I attribute to its fault. And it's been durable. Granted, I've only had one full race on it, and I've had a couple practice days, but overall, so far, it's been very good. So overall, for the LC Racing LC10B5 kit build, I thought it went together very smoothly. As long as you lock tight all your screws, they are going into metal. As long as you follow the directions, make sure not to strip anything. I hope that you'd have the same experience. So overall, I thought it was very good. There are a couple small issues with it, but LC has fixed that now, so not that big of a deal. I hope you enjoyed this next clip, which is of this specific car, how you see it, minus the Trinity. I had a motive in there at that point. Running on my local indoor carpet track. This video is of my first battery pack, my first few laps on this track with this car. I hope you enjoyed this video, and don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Slow Ben out.